Hello, hoi. How are you? Hope you're all well. Lou with us here. I'm just waiting for a few people, so I'll put a few things in just to show you. So yeah, I'm really excited to be here. It's absolutely really brilliant to be um, invited. Hello, Marcia, Ingrid. It's very nice of Mike and Diana actually helped me as well because we was having a few technical problems. So thank you to everybody. But it's even better to be sort of doing this in a group where people perhaps can, get the stuff and have a go themselves, which is what I'm all about. So I'm just going to give a few people a little bit of time to come in, and then I'll go through a few bits. I normally take longer than an hour, so it's entirely up to what happens, how we do stuff. If it takes longer, it takes longer. I'm not really worried about time. And if you feel that, once isn't enough, then, I am sure this will be available from me and from probably Monique in the group for a lot longer. So I've said hello to Marcia and Ingrid. Hello, Monique. Thank you very much for inviting me. Hello, Emma. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Linda. Linda with a Y, Linda with an I. Marianne, Diana, Dawn, Julie, Sarah. So yeah, I can see the many people from the UK group are here as well, which is great to see because it's wonderful to see how people, from different parts, create work using the same product. So I think that's a really good idea. It's really nice to do that. Yeah, and while we're just waiting for a few more, hi Bailey, hi Sarah, hi Julie, hi Glynis, hi Yvonne. Excuse me. While we're here, hello Malcolm. Ah, right, okay. Well, hopefully you'll see how I've created a few more bits with same things or similar things, Malcolm. So I hope that helps. So yeah, I've got the Just Lou butterfly collection. This is where the whole idea came from, these Just Lou ideas. So we'll be doing a cross between all of them. No, it's a private group, so we won't be able to share this, but that's cool. That's absolutely cool because I wanted it to be for the group. And then once the group have seen it, we can perhaps share this on one of my platforms. Okay, so yeah, it all depends. Was a little bit of a little bit strange the other day because everything was fine, and then suddenly one thing went wrong, another thing went wrong, and before we knew it, we had several events all happening, and I'd shared them in the wrong place. And me and technology don't get on. So I'd shared them in the wrong area. And then, it was just convoluted. So I actually ended up having to delete them twice and then inviting everybody. And it was just like, I'm just pulling my hair out with technology. Anyway, if I cannot pronounce your names, I'm incredibly sorry. It's me. I'm not very good with names. I'm okay with faces, but I'm not very good. So we've got Rinny, and I am thinking that Deformtastic is one of the main people, like with Monique and stuff. Exactly, Ingrid. They come in threes. So I'm just going to give it another because it's only 3 minutes past 6 in the UK. It's 3 minutes past 7 in the Netherlands. So it's different times. I did manage to get that right. But when you do an event in the UK, it automatically, well, mine did, reschedules it for the correct time in the Netherlands. So I was getting confused. Granavon. Oh, hey. Or is it Guden? I'm not very sure, but I'm trying my best to learn some Dutch anyway. yeah, so it automatically reschedules events. So I'm putting 6 o'clock, and then I didn't give it enough time to come through in the Netherlands, and then I thought it's wrong, and then redoing it for 7 o'clock, and then it was going to 8 o'clock. Oh, it's very confusing. Well, hello Karen, hello Emma, hello Sarah. So we've got quite a few people from the UK as well. Great. Oh, well, I'll just introduce myself to you. I'm Lou Withers. I work very, very happy to work with Studio Light, a fantastic company. But I started work as one of their demonstrators for TV, a Chanda, now new to be called the Crash Store. And hello, Rachel. Here's another one of my team, these wonderful ladies that make me look good, because their absolute DT work is astounding. Hi, Ingrid. So I was very, very lucky to be picked to do the Achanda Craft Store TV, and these were from before that, so these have always been my interest. Hello, Denise. Butterflies have always been very much a forefront in me, so I wanted to just show you how, depending on how you like your things, or how you like your things sounds a bit strange, but what style you're into, you can very much change these to be bright and bold. You can have them, you know, quite grungy, with mixed media, where we've got some beads, and we've got in the background, you can just see all the little sort of mixed media parts that have been painted in. We've got cardboard, we've got stamps, and then in these two, these are the backgrounds created first, and I'll go through some of that, and then the foregrounds are the butterflies, but we're looking at complementary colours, so they clash a little bit, and that I really think just makes it all pop. So the first thing I'm going to do is sort of like explain why I'm into butterflies. I think I adore butterflies because they go through this change. They go from one thing to another, and I just think about the growth of us as artists, how we change a little bit. So I also like moths, and moths have always had a bit of a bad stigma. So I decided I wanted to include moths. So I decided that was going to be. So in the stamp range with the Just Lou butterflies, you'll see that there's the moth and the butterfly. So this is the smaller version. So when we're looking at this, we've got a really colourful background, a monotone background with the complementary colour of orange and yellows on the top. So the butterfly really stands out. That from the Indian and Pakistani culture, I've got the mindis and the beautiful face decorations, which are a little bit hard to see. You can just see there. And these are naturally face decoration and hand decorations and eye decorations. And this one, I just don't want to get it in the light too much, is a mount from IKEA. So the IKEA mount is great for everything. I chose the black one, the white one looks good, and then this is a scrap of background that I did, and then I chose the best part and then did the mixed media. So the one I'm going to do tonight is going to be a mix between, we're going to be using the moth from a new collection and corresponding with the colours, bright colours. So I'm going to do something similar but different to this. So I'll just show you what I'm using, just so you know. So the next thing I'm going to use is I'm going to get the tag for this. Now the tag for this is board, and I just cut it out, and it's really simple. I just wanted it to look the tag shape, so I'm just using this, and it is 20 centimeters long by, this is 14 centimeters wide. So I'll just write that out for you. It's 20 centimeters that way by 14 centimeters that way, and it was just a rough guess, nothing nothing that really precise. And then I took it was a 2 centimetre square off in half. So that was a tag on hardboard, but I just wanted to show you that you can use this tag on you can make the same thing on waste card. So the next thing I'm going to use is I'm going to use some of the dies. So in this I've got the dies for the borders, so I'll be using several of these. Then I've got some of these that I've die cut out ready, but I may or may not use them. I've got these which are like the buds, which are under the microscope. That's where these come from. When I drew these, it was like the little pollen seeds under a electron scanning microscope, or is it scanning electron microscope? So it's really magnified, so it's really close. So some of them I won't be using that, but then I'll be using my moth butterfly. So I'll be using this one. You can use any of them if you wish. Maybe I'll be using this, which is a cardboard circle, but I might not use that. I've got a piece of text paper from a dictionary. I've got my die cuts, and I'll just show you what I've done. I've got the background for the big flower. I've got some of these that I've used as a stencil, so I've got a couple. I die cut a lot, and then what I do is when I die cut these like this, I tend to do quite a lot at once, so I've got them handy. So you know, we can use them like that, or I can use them like that if I wish. It all depends. I don't know yet. So I've got those dies. Some I've already used. I've got these in these colours because I tend to die cut out of different coloured cards that perhaps don't always go, but because I'm painting them, it doesn't matter. Then I've got another bit that I've cut out there. Then I've got these which don't always look good because I've chopped little bits off, but I'm not worried. So again, I might use the colours as is, or I might just paint them. It doesn't matter. So I've got a range of butterflies. I have got this leaf which I found and may use it or I may not use it, but I've got it's wonderful colours on it, but I might not use it yet. And then I've got another white one. And then what I've done is I've pre-done this because I do realise it's going to take a lot of time to show you, but I did want to show you. So I've taken them off and I've more or less finished one side here with some shading and some pen work. So I have used the pens I've used are the Secura Micron. I've used a Uniball Gold and a Uniball White, Signo, and these are all the broader ones, not the fine. And if you can just say, if I don't want to get too close because it'll ruin the camera focus. So you can see I've just gone around it a little bit with the white, but then with the black pen to put the lines in, and then there's like little gems to go in it. So here's another one I did using bright colours, and you can see this is half done. What I like to do is stamp them out and colour them, and then I get a really nice feel for it, and then it's a lovely feel for colouring in, and then I use them as I need them. So here I've got the little gems again, you can see, but these all need work on. There's a little bit more work on that side. So that's what I tend to do. I tend to get the butterflies, really work on them, and then I think, right, I'm going to use them for this. So I've decided that I'm going to use these colours. So the first thing I've got is I've got some Everybody White. Then I've got some gesso. Indigo Blue is very good. I've also got the Gallery acrylic, which is Opera Rose. I have got Distress Paint in Picked Raspberry. Now these are all similar pinks. I won't be using them all, but it's just so in case you haven't got that colour, you might have something similar. I'm using the Opaque Rose and the Transparent Violet. This is the Pebbio. So any of these colours where you've got like a contrast, a dark and a light. I have got the Diner, which is it's got a metallic finish. and this one is the green blue iridescent, and I've also got these two colours, ocean and turquoise, in a Dina Wakelet range from Ranger, so you can see. So really they're going to be the colours I'm using, but it could be any of your colours. You don't need to have just these. Then the very last colour I've got is, if I need it, a very dark blue, which is called Prussian blue, or a shade in black. And when I say a shade in black, it means a grey colour, so it's not too heavy. Okay, some of the colours that you might need are sort of some of the bright distress inks. So first things first, you're going to get all your first bits done. So the first thing I would suggest you do is die. Got it all ready, and then when you've die cut, you can get your stamp platform or whatever you wish. Now I tend to use watercolor paper for this, so, and when I do it, I do a couple on a sheet so that I'm not messing about. So you get either one, that one or the other, whichever you choose. So just going to put that on there. Normally I do a sheet of these, because if I do a sheet, then it means that I've got lots to colour all at once. Now a little tip is, I can see just here that I've got an air bubble, so a little tip to show you is, when you put it down, if you put it down like that and just roll your fingers over it, it gets rid of the air bubbles, and then that way, if you've got a delicate or a really intricate stamp, it doesn't actually miss as bad. But perfect. So I'm going to use a stays on, or I'm going to use an archival. Either one would be great for you. I'm using black this time. Normally I don't, because I tend to use a lighter colour, but because it's going to be covered with pencils, I'm going to make sure that I can see it. So now I'm not too worried about getting an absolutely brilliant stamp, because I can always do it again, but I am going to colour it. So I'm just going to show you, give it a good stamp, just a little bit in the middle. Perfect. Now just to explain, when I draw, now I've got some more residue on that, so what I might do is, just while it's there, to clean it, get my paper, it might not come out on this, and I'm just going to clean my stamp off on the paper. You see, you can hardly see the registration, but it's good to clean it and then wipe it. There's still a tiny bit, and then I'm not going to dirty it on the next stamp. So when I draw these stamps, and they all are hand drawn, everything I do that says hand drawn by me is by me, is I draw with lots of little dots. And when I shade, I like to do lots of little dots, and the dots, the closer they are, the more dense, the further away, the lighter they get. I'm just trying to see if I don't answer your questions during the live tonight. I'll be around for any questions in a bit, but I don't tend to answer questions during it, just so that I don't I don't sort of get, I easily get waylaid and distracted, that's the word. So I tend to sort of answer at the end. So what I would do here is make sure that's nice and dry. And the first thing you want to do when you're setting off with colours to colour your stamps is, when I'm doing mine to get these bright colours, I tend to start with paint and then move on to pencils. So I'll just show you a little bit how I do it, and then you can move on. I just stuck my finger in my paint. So I get my paints, these are all the paints I use, and I get my pencils ready. I'll be using the Bronzanil from Holland. I really do like these. They're not expensive at all, very good colours, but they work really well with the paint, and that's what I've done these with. So I'm just going to put them there. So what I've got is, I have got here some watercolours, not acrylic, watercolours. So the first thing I'm going to do is I've given a little bit of water to these just to set them, and I'm going to create a very light wash. So try your wash. It's a little bit too heavy, but wash it down, and then I'm just going to put a light wash here. Now the reason I'm doing this is to give it some colour without actually filling the tooth in the page, so that when I come to put the colouring pencils or anything on, I get a much nicer colour on top, because this is not filling it. If I got that with a pencil, I would be filling the edges of the paper in. So just to paper has got a tooth, and if the more pressure you put on with pencils, the more you fill in that tooth. So I'll just show you what I mean by drawing it. I can't draw on that. Oh, I will. When you've got paper, the surface of your paper, I'm sorry if you already know this, the surface of your paper is like that. Okay, under a microscope. So if I was to just put a wash of colour on, I'm only going to fill in a little bit. If I was to put one pencil on, I'd already be filling it. So I wouldn't have much room left, because once it gets to that, it's full. So by watercolour, I can keep putting more and more layers on, and then the top layer of pencil. So it's nice and bright like that. And if you're wondering why it's different, it's because I have done some more drawing on this, and this side I haven't. I just wanted to show you what you can or can't do. So now that's dry, I'm going to go in with a little bit of the pink, and I'm just going to put the pink in here. Now this is Opera. This is a very expensive colour, one of my favourites, and you can get this in lots of different makes. This happens to be a Daler and Rowney, but I have got Paul Rubens. I've got lots of different makes. So you put a layer of this on. Anywhere you want to keep white, stay white. So you do that all over. I'm going to go with a little bit of let's think now, maybe a little bit of the green. You can do it if you haven't got watercolors. You can use a little bit of you don't need a lot when you're doing an undercoat, maybe that much. And then all I'm going to do is I just need a little bit of plastic to put this on, and I tend to do it on the back of the stamp so I can see. So I'm just putting that on there, add a little bit of water, and I now I've got a nice watercolor effect that I can just add this bit to. I tend to stay away from the white areas that like the eyes, because I do want them to stay white. So as you can see, I've just put the colour down. You can go over it because you're going to, do a little bit more. If you want to add a little bit more colour while it's still wet, that's fine. Just treat it as a watercolour. Don't put it on at this point. You don't want too much because you're going to fill it with colour. And then if you wish, just put a little bit of shading using the colour just at the edges like that. Blend down. You don't need a lot. You really don't need a lot, because the pencils help at the end. Now this moth, the death head moth, I can't pronounce it properly. At the end here, these are supposed to look like snake heads, and that's to stop predators. So if you have a look on the internet or anything, you'll be able to see what they look like. I've gone for fantasy colours. I'm just going to add a little bit here, because if you mix these two colours together, you get a great purple. So this gives me like an undercolour for it and a blend. So you leave it like that. That's more or less done now till you put your colouring pencils on. So now leave that to one side, and we're going to get our tag out. So the tag, like I said, is 20 by 14. It can be any size you want. I've managed already in this little short time to make a mess. So this is a piece of mount board, rubbish mount board. I got it free from a local framers. So got that. I'm now going to get a tiny bit of gesso. Don't need a lot. And I'm going to scrub it into the surface. I don't want a lot on because I want it to dry. And how we scrub it in is I just get a tiny bit there, Put that in there. And I'm literally scrubbing it in, and it's dry. I don't want it wet. I don't want to lift up the layers by having too much water on it. So I'm just going to do this. Now, a little bit more water on that. I'm not too worried about it covering it. This is just to give it a base. So this base is like, again, like the foundation, like we've just done with the moth. It's just to give it a foundation, so that when I put the next layer of paint on, it's not sticking to it and absorbing too fast. So again, you can see there's very little. If I lift it up now, very little on, but it's drying really fast. And I've got nice big lights now, so that it does look like a studio, but it's hot like a studio as well. So if I just show you that now, you can see very little wet, and then I'm just going to get that and just dry it off. Okay, so that's all I'm doing with that. While that's drying off a little bit more, I've got this, and this is my text paper. Now you can use glue or anything with this, so it's entirely up to you what you use. I've got some glue here from and you can use it on several things. I've got the glue from, I'm just going to move some of this stuff because it's in the way. I've got the glue, it can be a dry glue or a wet glue. I've got these that I've got as well, and I've got these blanks as well. So on here I've used both. I've used the background and the foreground, and here I've just built up layers. So here what we can do is just cover the whole thing with that, or we can cover it with a circle, you know, if you've got, like, you want to use one of these and just put that on there. But when I'm looking at that, it's a little bit too small, you can't see it. So you need to sort of think the size of this does matter. So okay, so what I'm going to do is cover that with the glue. So I'm going to use this. It's a wet glue. It's not this is a school glue, but I know I can just spread it on really thinly. I'm going to use the paintbrush I had. I say thinly, but it's like just as long as you put enough to get on the edges. So brush away from the middle outwards, and then that way what happens is you get glue on the edges. Then all I'm going to do then is just, now this is really delicate, this stuff, so I can't be too heavy-handed. And then I'm just going to do that. I'm going to get the tag and dry it, squeeze it out. You can see I don't matter that it's got glue on it. Right, that's just what I need to do now. Leave that to dry, and you can see the water's already beveling it, but it'll be fine in a minute. Be fine. And then if you've got a roller, like a brayer, you can brayer it out, just to show you what I mean. But be careful, because if it's, see, like this, if it's very thin paper, you'll get rips. So my advice is put it on a piece of plastic, and if you put it on, say here, oh, Mark's there doing this for me, is brilliant. Don't put it that side up, because you're going to spread the glue. So just put that there and then spread it that way, and then what you're going to do is you'll be able to peel it off straight away from behind. It won't stick because it's plastic. So now can you see, rub your finger over it, and because it's fine, you'll be able to see where it is. Can you see? And I'm not worried if I've got little bits that are stuck, ripped, because I'll be ripping it off. So leave that to dry a minute. It's actually really fine, look. It's really fine. It's over 100 years old, so it will be. So, paint. Now, what I'm looking at, if I look back at my colours, I'm looking, thanks, Mark. If I'm looking at my colours, what would I do without him? I've got the blues, which is all one colour. It's blue, a little bit of brown, but it tends to look what's it called, monotone. So in this one I've got the blue background, and then I've got the bright complementary butterfly, and then this one I've got all the colours. So colours you want. So I'm going to go with, let's go with what I've got on here. Looking at this, there's lots of pinks. So what do I want? A bright pink, or shall we have a pink and turquoise background? Well, it might be a little bit too much. So if I go for a blue background with pink accents, that might be better. There's a little rule when you're doing, when you're studying anything art-like, and this is the rule. It's 60, 30 and 10. So that means 60% of a basic neutral colour. Then we want, that's your complementary colour, so 30% of a complementary colour, and then the 10% is called your accent colour. So if you think that majority of your colour, that's the colour that's going to go with it, and then that's your accent. So in this sense it would be, in one of my works it'd be blue and the background, then yellow butterflies with gold accents. Yeah, okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set down some colour first. So the first thing I'm going to do is just spray that with a little bit of water, not a lot, and I'm going to get my white on, and I'm going to stick my white, and this is a heavy body, so it is thick. So the next thing is you decide your colour. So it all depends on what colour you want. I've got these colours here with a little bit of a, this is a blue, is it a blue green? No, it's a green blue. So you don't need a lot of this. And the best way to deal with these are, you know, use the back of your work that you're not going to use, because we're cutting this up, and then you don't need any plastic, you don't need any extra stuff, you're just using everything you've got. So I'll just show you these. I might need more, but I tend to just leave them like that. So I've got these three colours and white. So you get the brush that you use with your glue, but make sure that this brush needs to be quite sturdy. And the difference between these two brushes are, this brush for acrylic has got, can you hear it? Now this one's watercolour. So this wouldn't push acrylic round as good as that. So this is acrylic, so that's more what you want. I can't use this one. This is a Talons, a Royal Amsterdam one of the other companies I use, and I can only use the thinner one because I don't knock the camera all over then. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to scrub the white in, and I really am scrubbing it in. A little bit of that with it, and that water, Louise, he's just pointed that out, Louise, so yeah, he's giving you a thumbs up here. Do you want to marry him? I've just got a slap. Right, here's the blue-green. He's mortified with me now. Can you see? So I'm just not trying to mix. He's mortified with me now. He doesn't exist. For those of you that don't realise, Mark's my other half, but he never appears on screen. So, but he does help me. So I want to make sure that I've got white still here. So I'm just mixing on the paper. So put the white down. Horizontal and vertical brush strokes. Gives it a much better flow. Light and dark. I'm not too worried about where the colours are at the moment. I'm just going to get the first colour down. So turn it round, and then one little tip that you can do is before you turn or cut your tag dies down, leave them square, and then what you can do is if you like it the other way round, then wait till right at the end and then turn it round, because at the moment it could be the other way that looks better. So here I'm trying to introduce, without mixing too much, these colours to get like that. Okay, so we've got a nice, now there's quite a lot of paint on this, so what you do need to do is have a heat gun near, but whilst it's still wet, you know, if you've ever had to use crackle paste and you can't overbrush it, that's what you've got to do with this. Don't overwork it. So we've got blues, greens, you know, all mixed together without being too heavy. Just show you that now. It does look a bit messy, but when it dries, it does dry differently. So what I do need to do now is just wash that brush out really well, and I will just quickly have my heat gun and give it a bit of a waft. Now I'm going to bring the butterfly in, and can you see how already that bottom colour is working with it? Now, it all depends on the colours that you're using, whether it's going to be a gloss or a matte finish. If it's a matte gel formula paint, then it will be matte. You love this mess, thank you. So give it a bit of a dry. Now, when you've got at home and you're sort of doing your own thing in your own time, you'll be able to do this and let it dry naturally if you want. Or my advice is do a couple of them. So I'm just drying my brush off. There's a reason that I don't want any more water than I can possibly put back on, because I want it pure paint. So here it's still wet in parts, but I'm just going to put in a little bit of the top colour. I'm just going to show you, that's way too much, but if I just put, I want a glaze. So by adding water, I'm going to get more of a glaze on the top. So I can build colour up without overdoing it, and I get lots of layers of colour, not just like a mixture. So if you haven't got a glazing medium, you can quite easily use gel. So you can use a gel medium, you can use PVA, you can use your glue, because that's similar to the binder in a paint. So that will extend it. Now, can you just see? Got lots of nice colours. Now here, I need to add a tiny bit of white, because at the moment it's looking a little bit too heavy there. So by putting that on, that's better. I am now breaking that up. That's it, that's better. So now we've got layer upon layer. And again, that's my butterfly. Can you see how the colours? So next layer is, I'm going to get the stamps now. Make sure that that's dry. See, it's still not dry there, but I'll show you the colours I'm using in stamps. Now I've got the Dilutions colour, because these are my main favourite colours. They tend to be some that I go back to time and time again. So I've got both colours that I need, and then that. So if you look at that, we've got all the colours we need. We've got the pink, we've got the blue, and we've got the green. I only choose that because I adore colour and I've studied colour for many, many years. So I've got an understanding of how they work. This is still drying, so that's good. Yep. And then don't forget the die cuts I did. If I wanted to use them like that, these colours still go, apart from that one, but I could paint that pink. These coordinate. So let's see, is that dry yet? Still a little bit damp. So now what I've got is the stencils I'm using. You can use this or any of the stencils in the Just Lou range. I mean, I've got quite a few of them now, but I quite like this one. And I'm just going to use the same colour that I've got now, or what I've already used, but I'm going to just do it very lightly. So I've got the dark is it Ocean colour? Yeah, Ocean by Dina Wakeler. Now, I want some darkness with this. I don't want it to be too white, and I want it to be more of a transparent rather than a blocky colour. So if you've got a gel medium, if you've got anything like that, I'm going to use PVA, just glue. Oh, you don't need a lot, too much, that much. And I'm going to make a transparent paint. There we go. So I'm making a transparency now. Now you do need to keep this watered, because if you don't, it dries very, very quick. Get that brush, get that in a water straight away. So I do need a sponge, thank you. And I've just got some water on here. I can just add it while I've got that. And I'm just going to put small areas. Now test it. Perfect. Little tiny areas. I don't want a lot. You see? Little areas. Keep getting your colour. Turn your work around. The glue on there still making it. See, can you see how it is allowing me to put it on top? What would be quite a dark colour on top of these, but still see the wonderful colours underneath. So whilst that's like that, I'm going to get the same colour, and I'm going to get the PVA that's already on here. I'm going to make my own colour. The PVA makes this more of a, again, more of a glaze, and I'm just going to put a tiny bit over near and next to where I did it before. And it's like a watercolour marking, can you see? So it's really handy. This is a kitchen sponge. And then the next colour is going to be the Diner. I haven't used this one yet. And this is the green blue. You can get blue green, but I like the green blue. Hang on. Yeah, green blue. And this one, I'm using the glue that's already on there. Tiny bit of this. Not a lot. I don't want it to be overpowering. And I'm just going to pick out small areas. Not a lot. I don't want a lot. If you want more denser colour, then use your, oops, sorry, use it without watering down too much. I'm just going to put a little bit there. You can see, just, and then here, and this time I'm not rubbing it in, I'm sort of really pressing it in, and we get a denser colour just there. So it's quite busy, that. So we've used Ocean, turquoise, Diner colour, we've used white, okay, and there. And what we're going to do now, just that needs a little bit. We've used the stencil over the white and the greens, but what we now need to do is actually just give that a minute, and then we need to sort of just come over it with a little bit of white. So I'm going to just pick this up and get a tiny bit of the gesso. I normally use the white paint, but I'll use gesso. And then I'm going to mix it with the colour I've got. So I don't want white. I want a mint colour. So if I pick this up and show you on the back of there, you'll be able to see that it's not white. Can you see? So although it looks it, it's not. And I'm just going to put, I'm not doing that because if I do that I mix it. I don't want to mix it. Get a little bit more. You can always add, but if you start putting too much on, you end up like you can't take it off that easy. So my advice is always little and more often. Again. There we go. We've brought out the white again. I need some more, but I've put a little bit too much water on that, so don't worry. You can work it. That's it. Now, don't worry about that, it'll dry. Or if you've got a big blob, just wait till it's a little bit more dry, go back on, and then you can go in with your green. I'll show you what I mean. And it's gone now. There we go. So I'm going to leave that because we've got tons of colour on that. Who needs telly when you've got loose masks? Right, okay, so I've come to this now. Just while it's like this, it's sort of near enough dry. I'm just going to cut this out. Now, it's entirely up to you if you want to cut it out. You can sand it off. You can do whatever you want. It's entirely up to you. I'm just showing you another way of working it. So this is the background of one of the big flower dies. So I'll show you. It doesn't take long. It's quite nice actually. And if you've got any really, see that I've messed that up when I was die cutting it. It's my fault. It's not the die. So if you've got any really awful coloured card that you don't want and don't want to waste, but it's good for construction, this is the best place to use it. So get that in like that, like that. There we go. So we've got that now. I'm quite happy with that. It's got text, it's got bits of old colour, it's got everything. I hope there's no... I'm trying to read the words, sorry guys, trying to read the words. Right, so here, dry now. Yeah, okay. It's dry, I've got my stamps. I'm using the turquoise version. So just to explain what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get a little bit of these. I'm just going to test it first and see what it looks like on my piece of paper. Perfect. So it's colour on colour. I don't want the whole thing. I just want little sound bites of colour. Like that. And it almost looks like crackle. Oh, I'll bring it nearer to the camera. So use another one. There we go. I'll just bring it. Can you see? If you've got any bits there that may need joining, then just use your fingertips, go straight on with that, and a little bit there, and you've got that textural background there. Where now if you do want to any of the lessons I've got that go on about colour or anything like that, I've got an Etsy shop that go into detail about all the colours. So if anybody wants to know more, these are the pinks now that I've got for the lovely sort of bushes and like pods that they've got, but on their own now I don't like them like that. So what I am going to do is, while they're like that, I'm just going to put them like that, and I'm just going to stamp with the turquoise colour on. As long as you keep to the colours that you've got in the main body, they will go all together. So if I just show you that it's tamed that right down, you can keep going till you build up more and more. And if I show you that next to that one, can you see now? Now pink and green make a fantastic purple. So you can see now how that's got much more depth than that. So I prefer, now the way to get a lighter version of that is you can go to the pink and put the pink on it as well. Okay, now I shouldn't have put that on there. What ink pad? The ink pad is Dilutions. It's one of my favourites. So there's the pink, it's high, it's a bit difficult to see. It has changed it, but I've put a little bit of the blue turquoise on, and then only a little bit over it. I don't want to make it as dark as that. There we go. So you can see pink, that's the colour they started, and there, that's the colour. So if we put them with the background now, they look better. And then let's have a look at the butterfly, and the butterfly is bright pink and all sorts there. Again, it now fits. So we've got that there. Now we've got the this one, and this one. Now my advice is, if you want to, you can keep these colours, this colour, this dark, if you wish. You know, you can put them on top, but it's entirely up to you, or you can colour them like this. I personally like that, but even that I think could be a little bit too, it's a little bit too dark. So if I left them pink, it would be. So if I was to do them in black, I'll show you what I mean, then it would make more sense, because they will all look similar. Do you get me? So you make that choice. Do you want them in a light colour with pinks and things like that with the butterfly, or do you want them in darks? It's entirely up to you with the butterfly. Either way they look okay, either way. Right, so here, this is the back part of one of them. Now you can put that back on. That's quite nice with that green on, so you could put that back on, and then, oops, sorry about that, and then have that on. I quite like that, but I think what I want to do is just leave it like that for the time being. I'm going to get this, and I'm just going to run over the edge with the green turquoise colour. Not a lot, I don't want a lot. And then what I'm going to get is a tiny bit of, I think I'll go with, oh, I've got to put white paint on this. Not dark, it's not quite dark enough, so what I'll do is I'll rip this off, because otherwise I'm going to contaminate all my paint, all my inks. There we go. Let's see. I want a distinct difference between them two. I know what I'm going to do. So I'm going to put a bit of this on, like that, and then I'll show you. And it makes up the two colours of this. Okay, now I'm going to move that round and use this one. I'm going to go in with the pink, and I'll get this amazing purple happening. Can you see it? Now you can see it, can't you? So this is why I love these colours. There's the pink overlapping. I'll bring it up closer so you can see. Overlapping the text and the green, but you get this amazing multicoloured purple. You see it? Right, so that on there. Now that looks much better. All you've got to do is, do you want that on there? Do you want that on there, or do you want to leave it as it is with your butterfly? I quite like it like that, because I think it makes it look nice. So then I'm going to choose these. So I'm going to look at these. This would be my pinks. Quite like that. I don't want them all like that. They look a bit boring, or a bit stuck on. So what I've got to do now is I get the pink, and I want just a pink. It can be anything you want. I'm going to use the edge of this, and I'm just going to get, maybe something a little bit thicker. You just need a piece of card, or you need like, I did have one, here we go. Right, so if you just get the edge of this, or the edge of a card, I have got the little spatula. Got the little spatula's got, the little spatula I've got is quite strange. It's a, there we go, that's a bit better. I'm just taking Can you just see some pink lines? But it's not heavy enough, so rather than use that, I'm going to go straight in with my pink. So I've got a little bit of the pink. It will make more sense when you see it. I'm going to get my little bit of card again, a little bit of plastic. I'm going to put my opera pink out. Now it looks way too bright like that. I do understand that, but that's fine because this is how these colours all build up. So this is a bit heavy for my hand actually. So I'm just going to drop that in there like that. Okay, and I'm just going to put in, let me just move back, some little pink lines. That's perfect. I don't need many. There's lots of people who use lines like this, and they do on the journaling and all sorts of things. So I'm just going to clean that off, put another bit on. I would use a credit card normally or anything like that, and you're just going to put, this will be in the background so it'll be hard to see. I'm just introducing the pink to the background so it's not as, there, that's nice. So we've got little bits of colour. That's better. And I'm just going to rub in the colour like that. There we go. Can you just see tiny bits of colour? And then the next bit is you do get your bit of card. Now normally I would use, I can't understand, I've put it all out and I can't find it now. But normally a credit card or anything like that, that you can just have the edge in. I'm trying to find one. Will that do? Here we go. Doesn't matter, Mark. That's it. So just anything with an edge, right? And then wipe that off. So a ruler is better if you can. Okay. Got that there, got that there. You can just see the edge of it. This now with that, and I've got that on there. A piece of mount board is brilliant for it because you can throw it away. So if you've got, you know, a piece of cardboard like that, that's it. And just the idea is sometimes that we like to go diagonal. It's better if you don't, I must admit. So in there now we've got pinks going that way. I'm going to introduce some purples because I need a little bit of depth. So this is a Dynacolor purple. These you may not need. If you want black at the end, you can use black instead. I tend to not use black too much. So I've got the purple, and you bring the purple next to the pink. It creates depth and interest. But I must admit, a credit card is easier because you've got more depth, thickness, so it does work. Okay, so, and if you want to just add a little bit of difference, you can just add it sort of from the edge. It doesn't matter, Mark. No, don't be going and getting a credit card out. He's going through my purse getting the credit card out. No, get out of my bag. Right, so I'm going to glue this down now because I think this is ready. You can make this 3D if you want to screw up newspaper there and then have it three-dimensional. You can do that, so it's almost like puffed. So I'm just going to put that there. Now I'm going to just think, right, do I want them there? So I'll get the other bits out and I'll think, yeah, I'll have some under and over, so it'd be darker near me. No, lighter near the front, that's it, and darker near the back. So rather than trying to glue all this down, just put a blob of glue there. Just put that there and then stick that down over it. So I quite like that. This, what you could do is put your glue on here and then just a touch of paint in the glue, doesn't matter, as long as you don't put that much on. And then get your plastic and just stick that on. Okay, like that. So we've got that nice it's sort of working now. I can put that on now. That doesn't look too bad at all. Or I can have the white. No, the white don't work. I'm not sticking that on yet too much like that. That's all right, but I think I prefer it without. And I'm just going to move that down, because if you see, it's sort of lost there. Sort of lost. So the next thing is, if you look at that, it needs height. So in my little bag, I've got all the bits and bobs that I need. I've got some more of these if I wish. I've got this, which is really nice. I mean, you could cut this out of any colour. So if I wanted to have that, it's nice, but it might be a little bit too dark. But you can do whatever you wish. I've got some little, these might be better for me, just to bring the height upwards. So I'll show you what I mean. A little bit of black is good, but not too much. Too much black, it overpowers. So let's have a quick look. So I'm just going to put some glue on these. So same way as I did before, I've just got a little bit of glue there, just passing it through. If these are too dark, then all I can do, or all I have to do, is just paint over them a little bit with some whitewash or some gesso or some pink or some blue or whatever colour I've got to hand that matches the colours that I'm working in here. So again, just a little bit of glue. And don't forget, your butterflies coming over here, so you can put them anywhere, and like that, maybe a bit more underneath. That's it. Okay, so I've got that. I've got another one. I'm trying to think now. Get my butterfly. Oh, I quite like that, but I need some down here. So I'm just going to put that on there. Put a little bit there, a little bit of glue, not a lot. And then I'm going to bring this down here. So put some glue underneath there and bring that down there. Might move it over a little bit. That's it. I might rip off some edges because I don't really need them like that, and just put this down here. So it's a bit offset, if you see. It's a little bit offset, but it doesn't matter because the main element, which is the butterfly, will be underneath. What? Can't hear. Moth. Sorry. I'm being corrected as well. Right. So it looks a bit strange. Now we're going to go on to this. So what we can do is even put one of these. This is like the little jigsaw puzzle. So we could put that across there and have that on there if we wish. But I'm not going to at the moment because the next bit is really finishing it off now. Right. Okay. So I'm going to use some coloured pencils on the top of my work. So you get the coloured pencil, any choice that you've got, and the watercolors. Now the watercolors, I'm not going to do a lot of this because it does take time, but the colours I've already put on now, I've already given it a bed. So what I can do now is I choose the family of colours I want. I'm just going to do a little bit, not a lot. So if it's the turquoise, I'll be using the turquoise, the white. I'll show you these colours when I've done them. Turquoise, like these colours, and maybe the purple, and then the purple will be your dark blue. So I'm only going to do, like I say, a little bit of this. So, and then I'll show you the finished piece. You can add some more of the paint if you've got it. That's entirely up to you. You start off, I'm going to start off with my mid colours. So I'm just going to go lighter. So really heavy, lighter, lighter, and lighter. So if you can just see, I've got a radiant, and then I'm going to go back over with my next colour, over both, like that. Can you see? And then blend it both in with that. So again, I'll show you. You go very dark, still a little bit wet this, but doesn't matter, to very light. And then you go back over, very dark where it is you're mixing, and then very light. And then you go right over here. I am just going to go dark here to light, and then I'm going to use the white pencil on it just to show you. So now I've got a blend of 3 different colours. Okay, so we've got these. If I wanted a little bit more depth to it, I'd go in with a darker colour just in the edge. Can you see? And then maybe down here. Purple and the blue, and then it doesn't, oh it's just come off, and then it doesn't look so much, it doesn't look as black as you think it's going to look, so you can just blend that in. But if I was to just do this straight away without any pens, out any watercolors underneath, then I wouldn't be able to get this really nice set of blending techniques with them. So that's what I've done with this. So I've done all the colours, I've done light, medium and dark with these, and all I'm going to do now is just show you some pen work. So the pen work is really quite easy. You get a black pen, whichever pen you want, you get a white pen and a silver pen or a gold pen, and you choose colours you want. Now this might be a little bit too dark for me or too broad, and my advice is use nibs that are a little bit finer, because you can add, but I'm using a 1 and then the uniball broads, because if you use a finer one you can build up colours. So just to show you that the first part here, the difference between that and that is that's gone down with the white around the edges. I've paid attention round here with the white, I've gone darker here with the pen marks, and you can see it's just giving it an overall definition, more definition. I'm only going to show you a little bit. So I've got a 1 nib, and they do work on the top. I'll go over with my white first on here. So just the white on the top. It's amazing how it works on top of the pencils, but I'm just going around the black all the way around. I'm not being too careful, and then I'm going to go all the way around this, and then this one, and then I'm just going to put some lines there, and you can see they do need the black in them, because if I just leave it like that, it doesn't look as striking. I'll put the antennae on. I'll go back round with the pen. Now this pen's well running out now, but you'll start to see when I put the lines on. Can you see the difference just with those little bit? It's made a huge impact. Oh, and do you know, I've used so many it's untrue. So you go on with that, you get your white pen, thank you, and then you let your pen judder so it goes. And then when that's dry, you can use your black pen to just go around that. So you can see now again round here, there we go. Can you see the depth now? I'll do it here as well. Can you see the depth? And then the white here. I'm nearly done now. So I've got the moth. I've got the gold and silver on here, and you can take as much time as you wish. You can put the little bindies on. You can put all the little gilt, you know, the embellishments. You can go around it with a pen. You can add as much as you want till you're blue in the face. So I'll get this back now. I've got that on there. Quite like that there. Really bright tag. I think I might be tempted to just have that there, and then now moths don't normally have antennae like that, but in my world they do. So I've got that on there. I'm going to make that, and if you've got this and you've got that light colour there, it is an idea just to paint the back so that you've got no white on show. So like that, so it doesn't look as in your face. Now I'm just going to create a tiny bit of an edge using my finger, and this is the purple that'll bring it, should bring it together and give it a bit of impact. I'm being quite messy. Okay, there we go, that's better. So it's, you're rubbing it in, taking it off, rubbing it in. So you wipe it on, wipe it off, wipe it off. You see, just got all these little bits. If you really want to make it look really special, the depth that you add with just darkening this edge, really, I know it doesn't look much, but it does really make an impact, because it gives it so much drama. If I just show you that, if I show you that against the, oops, sorry, just show you that, can you see the dark there? It gives it lots more impact. It's darker, and this is what I used. I wanted to show you this before. This is what I used to cut it out of. It was a piece of mount board. I'll get all the others up in a minute and show you. So I'm just doing this. If you've got it on a piece of sponge, just be careful, because this is mount board, so it's very sharp. Right, I'm just going to do that. So where's my butterfly gone? There it is. I am just my moth. I'm just going to glue it there, and like I say, if I was, you know, thinking about not seeing it, I would put a bit of the purple on there so you can't see, and I would just bring that up there, bring that there like that. Now I'll bring the others in to show you. So if I just make a bit of space, so the idea behind it was, I just love butterflies, I love moths, I love anything organic. Where's my pencil case? Oh. I love anything organic and beautiful and Mother Nature, and so having them all together, moths and everything, will give you an idea. So here's just some of the, so we've got IKEA frame, and this is another IKEA frame, and again using complementary colours. Then there was this one that I used more grungy, and then we've got this one which is totally funky and different. So based on the same sort of thing, you can see, you know, how they correspond. I could put more circles in it now. Again, the play on colour. This is a lot bigger, so I'd need a bigger frame to have that same impact, but some of the flower stamps we've got, perfect with that in this background. I could still add some dark lines there. If you want it grungy, have it like that, but you get the idea. It's for you to choose. So I'm hoping a lot there, and I'm hoping you enjoyed that because I really did. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that they invite me back at some point. I'm really, really proud to bring these stamps, but I'm very, very humbled to think that you might buy them as well. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you do want to join me, you can come and see me every day on my own page at 12 noon UK time, where I do a free live every day called Mindful Moodling. I have an Etsy shop and a website, so if you want to come and see some of the other lessons I've got, please come and take a look, say hello. But thank you so much. Take care. Bye.